Oh my gosh, I must have eaten a terrible lunch. I should never have had that chocolate ice cream mixed in with my corned beef hash because now I've got indigestion and I think I'm seeing things. As a matter of fact, I think I see a lion in my barber chair having his paws shined and his claws manicured. No, I said, you're not seeing things. This is my friend the lion, and he wants a haircut. And I imagine that he wants his mustache trimmed also. Yes, said the lion, I want a very good haircut. That is the main thing. Get that joke? Well, you won't get it here, said the barber. I don't cut lion's hair. Grrr, said the lion. Yes, sir, said the barber with a great big smile, and the lion got his haircut. And then the barber gave him a massage, which he loved very much because it's very much like being scratched behind the ears. And he had his head sprinkled with water that smelled wonderful, and he loved that part best of all. As a matter of fact, he drank up half the bottle before I could tell him that it was definitely not the thing to do. And finally, the young lion got out of the barber's chair and smiled and said, Let's go, Uncle Shelby. I feel like a new lion. Just a minute, said the barber. You haven't paid me yet, and that will cost you exactly... Grrr, said the lion. Exactly nothing, said the barber, smiling. Today is the day I'm giving free haircuts, and I hope you enjoyed it very much. Now, it was just about 5 o'clock when your Uncle Shelby came out of the barber shop with the lion, and I noticed that the lion was looking at me in a hungry sort of a way. So I said, how about having a bite of supper with me? And the lion said that he wouldn't mind, and so I took him to a very nice little restaurant over on 57th Street. I think that you'll love the food here. Everything is quite delicious. Well, said the lion, it doesn't look so good to me, but, well, if you say so. Stop, stop, cried the waiter. You're eating up the menu. Oh, my, said the lion. Well, I'm sorry, but you said that everything was delicious. So, my dear lion, the waiter said, I was speaking only of the food. The menus here are not too tasty at all. And also, I might add, eating a menu is not at all good taste. Maybe not, said the lion, but it's still better manners than eating up a waiter. I guess he's right there, said the waiter with a big smile. But now, gentlemen, how about some nice lamb chops with a baked potato and some string beans and then some chocolate pudding with a... I want a marshmallow, said the young lion. A marshmallow, said the waiter. We don't serve marshmallows here. This is a very fancy restaurant. Roar, said the lion. Yes, sir, said the waiter, and he hurried off to the kitchen. In a few moments, he came back with a beautiful marshmallow on a flaming sword. Ah, said the lion, a marshmallow at last. At last, a marshmallow, a master marshmallow. Well, you can see how nervous and excited he was. And he picked up the marshmallow. It's light as a feather, he said. And he put the marshmallow on his tongue. Ooh, and it's crispy on the outside, he said. And he bit into it with his big teeth. Ooh, it's creamy on the inside, he said. And he chewed it up. Oh, he said, and he closed his eyes and he smelled. Oh, and he swallowed it. It's delicious, he said. It's better than rabbits anytime. More marshmallows, cried the lion. More marshmallows. Yes, sir, said the waiter, and he hurried off and he brought the lion a whole platter of marshmallows. Delicious, said the lion. More marshmallows. And the waiter brought him a southern fried marshmallow. Wonderful, said the lion. And he brought him a marshmallow and tomato sauce. Scrumptious, said the lion. And he brought him a boiled marshmallow and a scrambled marshmallow and a poached marshmallow and marshmalloop, which is marshmallow soup, and marshmallops, which are marshmallow chops, and marshmallow, which is marshmallow stew, and a marshmallet, which is a marshmallow omelet, and everything. And you know what the lion ate for dessert? Wrong. He ate his napkin. Ha, that's a good joke on you. And finally, the young lion leaned back in his chair and patted his stomach. I feel wonderful, he said, and he smiled and he wiped his mouth with his tail. Now, I must have a suit, a gentleman shooter's suit. Tell me, Uncle Shelby, do you know of a good tailor? A good tailor, my boy, I said. Your old Uncle Shelby is the best dressed man in the city, quite possibly the world. I will take you to my own personal tailor, and he will make you the most beautiful suit that any lion ever had. And so the young lion and your Uncle Shelby walked arm in arm to the tailor shop on Taylor Street. And we went inside, and there was the tailor and the tailor's assistant and the tailor's assistant's assistant. Hi, tailors, said the lion. Make me a beautiful suit. A suit for a lion? Said the tailor. Definitely not. Absolutely not, said the tailor's assistant. Abso-posi-definitely not, said the tailor's assistant's assistant. Grar, said the lion. Yes, sir, said the tailor. Oh, definitely, said the tailor's assistant. Oh, defa-posi-lutely, said the tailor's assistant's assistant. How about a nice brown tweed suit, said the tailor. How about a lovely blue gabardine suit, said the tailor's assistant. How about a beautiful purple and yellow suit with red polka dots and a vest to match, said the tailor's assistant's assistant. And the lion tried on some suits. I don't like them, he said. How about a nice white marshmallow suit, said the lion. A marshmallow suit? Why, that's silly. You can't make a suit out of marshmallows. Grrr, said the lion. Yes, sir, said the tailor. Oh, definitely yes, said the tailor's assistant. And the tailor's assistant's assistant didn't say anything because he was already down at the candy store buying up all the marshmallows. After a while, he came back with a whole load of marshmallows, and the three tailors put their heads together and tried to figure out a way to make a marshmallow suit. Now, first they tried to sew it with a needle and a thread, but that didn't work. Then they tried to sew it on the sewing machine, but the sewing machine got all gummed up with marshmallow. Then the tailor's assistant got an idea. So they stuck the marshmallows together with raspberry jam and made the suit. And they showed it to the lion. How does it look? They asked. Delicious, said the lion, and he put it on, and you should have seen him. A big lion's head sticking out of a suit of marshmallows, and he looked at himself in the mirror. Wonderful, said the lion. Now I really am a dandy lion. Except that it looks a bit lumpy. Maybe you'd better iron out the wrinkles. But you can't iron marshmallows, said the tailor. Marshmallows will... Grrr, said the lion. And the tailor's assistant brought an iron, and they began ironing out the marshmallow suit right on the lion. And you know what happened? Well, of course you do. The marshmallows melted all over the lion until he was covered from head to toe with sticky, icky, drippy, runny, gummy, gooey, goopy, melted marshmallows. And the marshmallows dripped into his eyes, and he couldn't see, and they dripped into his ears, and he couldn't hear, and they dripped into his mouth, which he liked very much. And your good old Uncle Shelby had to lead the poor lion out of the tailor shop and back to the hotel and get him a hot bath as quickly as possible. And let me tell you, that a tailor and that tailor's assistant and tailor's assistant's assistant seemed very happy to see us go. And I believe that they are all still just a bit angry with me for bringing a lion to their shop to buy a marshmallow suit. Well, we finally got to the hotel, and after we had gone upstairs and up and down the elevator 28 times, we went to meet the circus man, and he made the young lion take another bath to get all the marshmallow off. And then he asked me if I would stay for a glass of buttermilk, and I said, yes, I will. So the lion and the circus man and I sat around until very late, drinking buttermilk and telling jokes and smoking big black cigars and singing the marshmallow song, which is really not too bad of a song once you've had a few glasses of buttermilk. Well, I think we'd all better get a good night's sleep, said the circus man finally, because tomorrow things are going to really start popping for Lafcadio the Great, the star of the Finchfinger Circus. Who's Finchfinger? Asked the young lion. That is I, said the circus man. And who is Lafcadio the Great? Asked the lion. That is you, said the circus man. But my name is Grumfer or Murmfer or something like that, said the young lion. Don't be silly, said the circus man. You can't say Grumph the Great or Mrumph the Great or something like that. The Great. From now on, your name is Lafcadio. And let me tell you, Lafcadio the Great, that tomorrow morning things are really going to start popping for you. Well, let me tell you, old Finchfinger wasn't kidding. The very next morning, there was a great big parade for Lafcadio the Great, all the way from the hotel to the circus tent. And the band was playing, and the sun was shining, and Lafcadio the Great was riding in a big golden convertible. And the band was playing Oompa, Oompa, Oompa. And the people were cheering, hurrah, hurrah, and yay, hey, hooray, and whoopee, and wow, and 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Lafcadio, Lafcadio, Lafcadio the Great, yay! And they threw confetti at Lafcadio, who was very happy, and he smiled at everybody, and he opened his mouth and caught some of the confetti and ate it, and everybody cheered, and he waved his tail all around, and he curled his mustache, and he honked the horn on the car, honk, honk, and the band played Oompa, 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 boom, boom, Elpa, Elpa, Oompa, Oompa, and the crowd kept yelling, hey, yay, hooray, and Lafcadio the Great was the happiest lion in the whole world. Of course, your Uncle Shelby was invited to ride in the parade, but if you want to know, My alarm clock didn't go off by the time I had gotten up and had my breakfast of 2 soft-boiled eggs with small sausages and white bread, toast, and jelly. Why, the parade was over, and thousands of people were already in the circus tent waiting for Lafcadio the Great. And the band played oompa, oompa, boom, boom, and the drums rolled, and finally the ringmaster with the long mustache hollered, "Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the only sharpshooting lion in the world, Lafcadio the Great." And everyone went, "Hooray, hooray!" And Lafcadio the Great came out, and he was wearing a brand new white suit that Mr. Finchfinger had bought for him, and a big yellow cowboy hat, and yellow boots, and he had a brand new silver gun with a pearl handle, and a diamond-studded holster with lots of bullets made of pure gold, and he waved, and then he picked up his gun, and first he shot 6 bottles off of a table. Bang, 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 bang. And then he shot hundreds of balloons off the ceiling. Bang, 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 bang. Well, you can put in the other 92 bangs yourself. And then he told everybody in the circus to put a marshmallow on his head, and he shot the marshmallows off of everybody's head in the circus, including all of the kids and a few of the monkeys. And then he told everybody in the audience to hold up the ace of spades, and he shot every card in the middle, 12,322 of them, but he did it with 12,323 shots because he missed once, and the people went, "Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah." And then he shot between his legs, and he shot under his arms and standing on his head, and he shot lying on his side and sitting on his hands, and he shot rolling over, and he never missed once after that. And the people began to shout, "Rah, rah, rah, Lafcadio the Great is the greatest shot in the world." And he was. And that was how Lafcadio the Great joined the circus. And from that day on, I saw very little of Lafcadio the Great because everybody knows that he was busy traveling with the circus from city to city, from New York to Racine to St. Paul, doing trick shots for millions of kids and men and women. And Lafcadio the Great began to get more famous until everybody in America knew about him. And he went over to London to shoot for the Queen, and he went to Paris to shoot for the Prime Minister, and he went to Iran to shoot for the Shah, and he went to Russia to shoot for the Premier, and he went to Yugoslavia to shoot for the Marshal, and he even went to Washington to shoot for the President, and he became very, very rich. And now and then I would get a letter from him telling me that he'd just had tea with the Prince of Wales, or that he'd been sailing in Bermuda, or that he'd just met a beautiful movie actress, stuff like that. And after a while I would get a picture postcard from him showing the Eiffel Tower or the Sahara Desert or the Ellis Memorial Library of East Rockford, Illinois. And it would say, "Having a good time," or "Wish you were here," or just, "Hi." And of course, Lafcadio learned things that he had never learned before. He learned to sign autographs because he was so famous that everyone wanted his autograph, and everyone was especially delighted with him because he would sign 6 autographs at once, 2 with his front paws, 2 with his back paws, and 1 with his tail, and 1 with his teeth. But after a while, of course, he would only sign 1 at a time with his right front paw because that was more like a man and less like a lion. And Lafcadio was becoming more and more like a man all the time. For instance, he stood on his back paws, and he learned to sit at the table with his left hand in his lap and his elbows off the table. And he stopped eating menus, and he learned to wear dark suits and white shirts and button-down collars and tweedy brown suits with plaid shirts and turned-up collars. And he learned to wear collars with starch in them, and he learned to wear collars with no starch in them. And he kept his tail curled up and seldom let it hang down, except when he forgot himself or he had a little too much buttermilk to drink. And often I would see him dancing in nightclubs with the most beautiful, beautiful girls. "Hi, Lafcadio," I would say. "Hi, Uncle Shelby," he would say. "Come on over to my table and have a little more buttermilk." And I would, and we would talk about old times when Lafcadio didn't even know what a barbershop was. And as time went by, Lafcadio the Great became greater and greater, and his picture was in all the newspapers. And Lafcadio the Great became more and more like a man, and he began to play golf, and he began to play tennis, and he went swimming and diving, and he began to paint pictures. But to tell you the truth, he couldn't draw a straight line. Get it? And he did exercises to stay in shape, and he went skating, and he learned to ride a bicycle. And he spent his vacations lying on the beach in Cannes. And he learned to sing and play the guitar, and he learned to bowl, and he seldom said "grar" anymore, except for on very special occasions when everyone wanted him to at parties. And he became a social lion. And he wrote his autobiography, and everybody bought it. And he became a literary lion. And he had his clothes made to order, just so. And he became a clothes lion. And I suppose he was just about as happy and rich and famous as anyone could ever hope to be. And then one day, just as your old Uncle Shelby had finished his supper and was about to settle down in his easy chair with his pipe and slippers and hot chocolate and National Geographic magazines, the telephone rang. "Hello, Uncle Shelby. This is Lafcadio the Great. Can you come to my house immediately? I need your advice because you are the wisest man in the whole world." "Well, of course I will come," I said. "I have never let down a friend in trouble." And so I dressed in a hurry and went out to the night, which was 65 below zero. And if I remember, I couldn't catch a taxi, so I had to walk the 12 miles in the snow. And it took me 15 minutes because the snow was very deep, and I forgot my galoshes. And when I got to Lafcadio's castle, the butler showed me in through the hallway, which was made of silver, and then through the dining room, which was made of platinum, and into the study, which was made of gold. And there was Lafcadio the Great. And do you know what he was doing? He was crying. "Why are you crying, my friend?" I asked. "You have money, and you are famous, and you have 7 big cars, and you are loved by everyone, and you are the greatest shot in the world. Why are you crying? You have everything." "Everything isn't everything," said Lafcadio the Great, dripping his big tears down on the golden rug. "I'm tired of my money and my fancy clothes. I'm tired of eating rot Cornish hens stuffed with rice, and I'm tired of going to parties and dancing the cha-cha and drinking buttermilk. And I'm tired of smoking $5 cigars and playing tennis, and I'm tired of signing autographs, and I'm tired of everything. I want something new." "Something new?" I asked. "Something new," he said. "But there isn't anything new to do." And he started to cry again. Now, I could never stand to see anyone cry. So I said, "Have you tried going up and down the elevator a few times?" "This morning I went up and down the elevator 1,423 times. It's old stuff." And he started to cry again. "Have you tried a few more marshmallows?" I asked. "So far, I've eaten 23,241,562 marshmallows," said the lion, "and I'm tired of them too. I want something new." And he put his head down and began to cry even more. And just then the door banged open, and in rushed Finchfinger, the circus man, waving his cane. "Hi ho, Lafcadio the Great," he shouted. "Stop crying and start smiling, because every cloud must have a silver lining. And I have just thought of a new wonderful thing to do, and it is brand new." "What is that?" Lafcadio the Great sniffed, looking up with big tears running down his nose. "Hunting," said the circus man. "We're going to Africa on a hunting trip. So pack your guns and your suitcase and let's get going." "Wonderful," said Lafcadio the Great. "I've never been on a hunting trip. Come on, Uncle Shelby. Pack your bags and come too. We'll have a wonderful time." "Well, I would just love to go," I said, "but there's no one here to water my philodendron while I'm away, so I'll have to stay here. But do write me and let me know if you're having a good time." So Lafcadio the Great packed up his suitcases and his guns, and he and Finchfinger and lots of other hunters went to Africa to do a little hunting. And when they got to Africa, they put on their red caps, and they picked up their guns, and they went into the jungle, and they all began shooting at some lions. And suddenly one very, very old lion looked closely at Lafcadio and said, "Hey, wait a minute. Don't I know you?" "I don't think so," said Lafcadio. "Well, how come you're shooting at us?" said the old lion. "Well, because you're a lion and I'm a hunter," said Lafcadio. "That's why." "You're not a hunter," said the old lion, looking at him even closer. "You're a lion. I can see your tail sticking out from under your jacket. You are definitely a lion." "Dear me," said Lafcadio. "Dear me. So I am. I'd almost completely forgotten about it." "What's going on there, Lafcadio?" said the hunters. "Stop talking to those lions and start shooting those lions." "Don't listen to them," said the old lion. "You're a lion, just like us. Help us, And after we finish with these hunters, we'll all go back into the jungle and sleep in the sun and swim in the river and play in the tall grass and eat some nice raw rabbits and have a wonderful time. Raw rabbits? Don't listen to him, said the hunters. You're a man just like us. Help us, and after we finish with these lions, we'll sail back to America and go to some wonderful parties and play badminton and drink buttermilk and have a wonderful time. Buttermilk? Said Lafcadio. Ugh! Well, said the man, if you're a man, you'd better help us shoot the lions, because if you're a lion, we are certainly going to shoot you. Well, said the old lion, if you're a lion, you'd better help us eat up those men, because if you're a man, we're certainly going to eat you up. So make up your mind. Humph. Make up your mind, Lafcadio, said the man. Make up your mind, they all said together. And poor Lafcadio the Great, he couldn't make up his mind, because he wasn't really a lion anymore, and he certainly wasn't really a man. Poor, poor Lafcadio. What do you do when you don't want to be a hunter and you don't want to be a lion? Look, he said, I don't want to shoot any lions, and I certainly don't want to eat up any of you hunters. I don't want to stay here in the jungle and eat raw rabbits, and I certainly don't want to go back to the city and drink buttermilk. I don't want to chase my tail, but I don't want to play bridge either. Well, I guess I just don't belong in the hunter's world, and I guess I don't belong in the lion's world. I guess I just don't belong anywhere, he said. And with that, he shook his head, and he put down his gun, and he picked up his hat, and he sniffed a couple of times, and he walked away over the hill, away from the hunters and away from the lions. And he walked and walked, and soon far away he could hear the sound of the hunters shooting the lions, and he could hear the sound of the lions eating up the hunters. And he didn't really know where he was going, but he did know that he was going somewhere, because you really have to go somewhere, don't you? And he really didn't know what was going to happen to him, but he did know that something was going to happen, because something always does, doesn't it? And the sun was just beginning to go down behind the hill, and it was getting a little chilly in the jungle, and a warm rain was beginning to fall, and Lafcadio the Great walked down into the valley alone. And that was the last I ever heard of Lafcadio the Great. I certainly thought that he would have at least dropped me a line to say hello, or maybe even sent me a little something for my birthday, which is September 25th, in case you sweet children care to know. But so far, not a word from him. And not a word about him either. Of course, if I do get any news of him, I'll be sure to let you know. And who knows, you may even meet him before I do. Maybe on your way to school, or in the movies, or maybe in the park, or maybe in an elevator, or maybe in the barber shop, or maybe just walking down the street, maybe even down at the store, buying 5 or 6 dozen boxes of marshmallows, because he just loves marshmallows. The end. That was a long story, but a really cute one called Lafcadio the Great, the Lion Who Shot Back, by Shel Silverstein. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, everyone, get back to work and enjoy the rest of the day, and wash your hands. Have a good one. Bye.